Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're jumping right into John Coley's incredibly fun book, The Other Curse of Mr. M's Castle. I am absolutely thrilled to share why this story just completely nails the middle grade imagination, and, more importantly, what real developmental benefits young readers actually get from diving into its pages. We've got a lot of ground to cover, so let's jump right in.
Okay, let's dive into this. Seriously, what do a Scottish monster, Elvis Presley, and puking kindergartners have in common? I know, it sounds completely ridiculous, right? But honestly, this wildly imaginative premise is exactly the ultimate hook for young readers. It's chaotic, it's unpredictable, and it perfectly targets the sense of humor of a fourth grader who just wants a break from the ordinary.
Just to give you a taste of that specific comedic flavor, listen to how our main character, Griffin, describes the monster when it crashes the school Valentine's dance. He says, "It looks like somebody scraped a dead possum off the road, baked it, ate it, threw it up, and now it's dancing." Wow. This hilariously gross description is exactly the kind of specific, slightly repulsive humor that instantly draws kids right into the narrative. It's vivid, it's funny, and most importantly, it doesn't talk down to them at all.
Section 1, The Scottish Trow Invasion, Humor, Havoc, and Puke.
So, the main antagonist of our story is called a trow. Basically, it's a grotesque, supernatural Scottish creature. It lives in ancient royal burial mounds, possesses magic drawn from the blood of kings, and, wait for it, its primary defense mechanism, it literally causes humans to violently vomit the second they see it. The author brilliantly uses this vomit-inducing treat as a running gag throughout the entire story. It's just such a bizarre twist on traditional fantasy lore. Basically, whenever an unsuspecting person spots this thing, they get instantly sick, and then their brain mercifully erases the memory. It fuels the entertainment value in a way that middle graders just absolutely love.
Now, what's really interesting here is how the villain's silly obsessions make it so incredibly unique. Instead of, seeking world domination like a typical bad guy, this creature craves milk from the elementary school cafeteria cooler. It is utterly obsessed with the king, as in Elvis Presley, and it eats peanut butter and banana sandwiches. I mean, think about it. It's a monster that causes instant nausea in anyone who sees it, yet it really just wants to hang out in its dirt mound and listen to rock and roll. These bizarre traits make the threat feel super fun and engaging rather than genuinely terrifying.
Next up, a relatable grade school world, grounding the magic. You see, the story works so well because it perfectly contrasts all this magical havoc with an incredibly relatable everyday school setting. The author taps directly into the real, slightly cynical perspective of a typical fourth grader, noting that kindergartners, no matter how cute or sweet they may be, are like the undead of grade schoolers. Honestly, for Griffin and his friends, just navigating the chaos of the younger kids is a daily survival mission in itself. The author brilliantly strikes a balance between these two worlds. On one hand, you have absolute magical havoc, a troll building a royal mound in the woods, Haints literally haunting the second grade hall, and a monster stealing milk. But then, this is perfectly contrasted against relatable school life. Things like the woodworking club just trying to make a simple chair, the awkward chaos of a school Valentine's Day dance, and the lunchroom ladies strictly enforcing state health standards. Grounding the story in the reality of talent shows and annoying younger siblings actually makes all those fantastical elements feel so much more tangible and exciting.
Moving on to kids taking the lead, the empowerment payoff.
This brings us to a concept called the sight. It's this rare ability possessed by our fourth grade trio, Griffin, Garrett, and Sarah, plus a very brave little kindergartner named Nevaeh. Since they previously helped out a magical creature, they've basically been vaccinated against the trow's defense mechanism. It allows them to actually see the supernatural creatures without throwing up and having their memories erased. This is absolutely the crucial plot device of the story. It entirely separates the kids from the adults, forcing our young protagonists to step up and take real responsibility for their school's safety. It gives them total, unfiltered agency.
And this brilliantly illustrates exactly why that dynamic is so incredibly appealing to middle graders. On one side, you have totally clueless adults. The principal thinks it's just teen vandals. The nurse blames a winter stomach bug for all those puking kindergartners. And a teacher literally gets hypnotized by the troll. But then, on the flip side, you have these proactive kids. They're hitting the library to research Scottish mythology, actively protecting their classmates from harm, and actually building a trap. It's the ultimate empowerment fantasy for a young reader. It shows them that kids can solve the big problems that adults can't even see.
Which brings us to problem solving and woodworking. Practical skills in action. Okay, so instead of relying on magical superpowers or some cliche chosen one prophecy, these kids actually use their intellect and practical skills. First, they research the threat using the school library computers. Then, they actively build a giant rabbit trap using real mortise and tenon joinery in their woodworking club. Next up, Sarah uses her smarts to line the trap with plexiglass and mirror paint, which reflects the creature's royal magic right back at it. They bait the whole contraption with milk and an MP3 player blasting Elvis. And finally, they spring the trap on the troll and literally express ship it back to Scotland. I mean, it's a total masterclass in critical thinking and teamwork.
I absolutely love Garrett's perspective on this whole plan. He casually says, my dad used to make rabbit traps. I don't think it'll be a problem at all to build in woodworking club. This perfectly points out how Garrett's very practical contribution grounds their heroic plan in real, achievable hobbies. The story genuinely promotes real-world problem-solving and actual woodworking techniques that young readers could, actually try themselves, with a little adult supervision, of course.
Let's wrap this up with the middle grade takeaway. Entertainment meets empowerment. So the crucial point here is, why does this book work so well for middle graders? And what are the real benefits? Well, first off, it maintains really high engagement through hilarious, gross-out humor that truly speaks their language. Second, it uses highly relatable settings that reflect their actual daily lives. Third, it models safe independence and teamwork, as the kids really have to rely on each other's unique strengths. Fourth, it actively encourages critical thinking and good old-fashioned library research rather than just rushing blindly into a magical fight. And wonderfully, it introduces real-world hobbies like woodworking. This is the absolute ultimate takeaway for parents and educators on why this specific narrative is just so incredibly beneficial for growing minds. I want to leave you with this final thought to ponder. By balancing all this hilarious, gross-out chaos with some seriously critical problem-solving, what new passions could this quirky tale actually awaken in its young readers? Could it be a lifelong love for reading, an interest in world mythology, or, hey, maybe even a desire to pick up some tools, join a club, and learn woodworking? When we meet kids exactly where they are, using the humor they already love, the educational possibilities are literally endless. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and keep learning.